Gosh, marhaba. We, as human beings, are very strange. Naturally, we need God. We are in need for God, naturally. When we are in pain, we want to look up to somebody who is almighty. And when we have desires, we keep our expectations in somebody who is almighty, who has all powers. The only reason why some people become atheist is the don'ts and do's chapter of the religion. People want freedom and at the same time God's help. They do not want God to stop them doing certain things, but when they are in pain, when they're in need, they want God to help them. But God, there are certain things that God gives human beings without human beings asking for it. And there are certain things that God will give human beings when they ask for it. And then there are certain things, in order to get them, you have to play smart with God. You have to convince Him that you deserve it and you genuinely want it. The most precious thing that God has in His kitty bag, the most precious of all, something that God thinks is precious, and that is His love. If somebody wants luxury of this world, God will give it to you, but He will be a little put off. Look, what is He asking for? And if you genuinely ask God for the luxuries of paradise, He'll still be upset, but He will mellow down a little bit. Like, oh, something is better than nothing. These idiots who desire to have luxuries of the paradise are a little, slightly, fractionally better than those who are going after the luxuries of the world. But God is not impressed with such desires. And He doesn't give a thought about these demands from human beings when they say, God, I want to have a good job. I want to have good life. I want to have this, I want to have that. There you go. You have it. And then, in order to obtain luxuries of this world, you have to work hard, find a job, a good job, or maybe a little better than job is business, and then you work hard and you get all the luxuries of life. But if you are in pursuit of luxuries of the paradise, then you have to follow a religion. And the religion has to be perfect. Like you flew into London from Toronto. If the plane was not working perfectly fine, one of the engine was not working, or any other defect um, had arisen, you wouldn't be able to make this journey, right? When you're traveling, the means of travel have to be perfectly fine and have to be working to their optimum. Similarly, religions are the means for human beings to obtain luxuries of paradise. And the religions are set of two different types of knowledge. Knowledge number one, performance of worship, like rituals. Going to a mosque, going to a synagogue, going to a church, going to a temple, and you offer servitude to God. That is ritual. And then you clean your body. Some people take a shower every day, and this is according to their religion. And then there are certain things that you have to do. There is a binding on you from your religion. There are certain things that you must do, and there are certain things that you must not do. In these religions, it is not enough for a Muslim to go to a mosque 5 times a day and carry out all the rituals and read the Quran. It is not enough. He has to enlighten his souls. You must remember, like Master Paul is a Canadian citizen, but he's here in England. And the fact that he's here does not change his citizenship. Why? Because he is visiting. He is a visitor. Similarly, human beings are visitors on this planet. That's why you have to die. To die is not to come to an end. When you die, you're not coming to an end. Your death will not drag you into nothingness. Do you understand? Death is not end of life. Do you agree? Death is not end of life. Your reality lies within your soul. Your soul is real you. Your body is not real you. Have you ever used a 3D television? In order to watch 3D television, there is a specific pair of glasses. You must put them on. If you don't put them on, you cannot enjoy 3D. movie, you won't see it properly. But with the help of those glasses, you will see everything in perfection and you'll enjoy it. But when the movie is over, you'll remove the glasses. Those glasses are not your real eyes. It is an auxiliation. What is it? It is an auxiliation, an aid, a form of help to increase ability and performance of your eyes. Similarly, your soul is your originality. Your soul is your reality. And you're a visitor here. So you have been given a body which is compatible with the atmosphere of this world. Why do you need a body? If your soul come out and I ask your soul, please hold my glasses, your soul will not be able to hold these glasses. Ask me why. The body is dense. The body is dense. And the soul is ethereal, light. Not light like this bulb. Light means opposite of heavy, lightweight. Your soul is ethereal. You can live here with your soul, but in that case, you won't be able to touch or hold anything because you're living in a foreign world. To this world, your soul is a foreign living. This world was not meant to be compatible with your soul. Angels come and some other different ethereal creatures also live in this world, but you're not able to see them. Why? Because your eyes are linked with your body, which is dense. When your eyes are linked with your soul, then you will be able to see angels and all those creatures that you cannot see with your naked eye. So basically, a human being who lives here in this world for a very temporal period of time consists of two different types of life. This life is a mixture of two different types of life. This life is a mixture of two different types of life. Eternal life, which is in the background, and temporal life, which you think is everything. Which you think is everything. This temporal life is given to you so that you may be able to be compatible with the life-supporting environment, atmosphere in this world. And in this short period of time for which you're here, you're supposed to enlighten your souls. So you're here for a test. Tell me if you understand that. You're here for a test. Or maybe you can say, you're here for study. For example, if you spend 10 years in school, when you graduate from the school after 10 years, we assume you know how to read and write, right? But if you spend those 10 years in playing cricket or messing about here and there, watching movies, making fun of people and yourself, and after 10 years, even then you do not know how to read and write, the purpose of going to school fails. So this period of time in which you live in this world is a period of time in which you're supposed to train your souls. The more you train your souls, the more you strengthen them, the better place you will avail in the real life hereafter. So how well your life will be hereafter very much depends on how well you do here. Sometimes we fly from one country to another destination, and it's a multi-stop flight. We have to be in transit in either one country before we reach our final destination, or two countries before we reach our final destination. And we have to catch a connecting flight, you know. And what happens sometimes is, if your first sector is delayed, then obviously your next sector is affected. You will also miss your flight. So there is a specific period of time in which you have to complete that journey. If you do not complete your journey in that specific period of time, you miss the flight. So this is the only time you have in this world in which you have to obtain everything that you are destined to. If you waste this time, you're only bringing calamity upon yourself, and you are not able to hold anybody else responsible for it. I've been to many different countries of the world taking this mission. Canada, United States of America, Australia, Japan, all over Europe, India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Singapore, Malaysia. And I met with a lot of people. Most people who call themselves spirituals, they're not aware of spirituality. They keep themselves occupied with physical activity, and they think this is spirituality. Physical activity has nothing to do with spirituality. Physical activity is physical activity. Spirituality is to do with your spirit. If your spirit is not involved in the activity, how can you call that activity a spiritual activity? Simple as that, isn't it? If this is a divine conference and God is not invited, how can you call it divine? Right? If you do not see God, then there is no meeting with God. You can't call it a meeting with God. Spirituality is everything to do enlightening your soul, strengthening them, and then enabling them to perform a journey to the realm from which they have been brought up here, right? And this is done through the practice of spirituality, in which you need a spiritual guide, a spiritual mentor, spiritual master, who has all the expertise of the field, who's master of the trade, who knows in and out of this spiritual business. And the one who have gone through experiences, observations, and self-experience and everything, who has journeyed on the spiritual highway and must have arrived at the said destination. The one who knows highways and byways of the route. You do not become a spiritual man by reading a book. In order to be able to swim, you need to be a swimmer. If you just jump in the water and do this, it doesn't make you a swimmer. You know, you move your legs, you move your arms in strange and stupid direction. Probably you will drown in 1 second. The most important thing in spirituality is a spiritual guide. Like you have a disease, right? You have a disease and your heart is not functioning properly, and you have to go through a heart surgery, right? In that surgery, what do you think is the most important thing? The surgeon. You only lie flat on bed. You don't do anything, do you? And you don't even know what's going on. You're being operated upon, but you don't know what's going on. Everything is done by the surgeon. Is that true? And when I can't see a heart patient during the surgery picking up the forceps and giving to the surgeon, please cut this now, put that here, put that there. It doesn't happen. Some people who believe in spirituality superficially do not understand the value of the spiritual guide. And they think they themselves are enough to do everything. That is not the case. The master, the spiritual master, is the most important thing in spirituality. Without the spiritual master, you cannot move an inch in spirituality. You don't do anything. The spiritual master, he is able to see your soul. He wakes up your soul in your body. And spiritual master is the first one to communicate with your soul. Before even you communicate with your soul. No wonder God said in the Holy Quran, your master Muhammad is closer to you than you are to yourself. Remember that? Your master is closer to you than you are to yourself. Isn't that true? My gosh, look at that. Your master is closer to you than you are to yourself. Hi. So in that case, your soul knows your master first before it knows you. Hi. Kya baat hai? Do you really understand what I mean? Your master is the first one to communicate with your soul. Even before you do. Your master is the only one that your soul comes to know before even your soul knows you. And then your spiritual master awakens the soul. Hmm? And spiritually nurse the soul with divine energy. Nurse the soul with divine energy on time, every time, without fail. This nursery is not like a mother feeding her baby. You know, every time a mother wants to feed her baby, she has to prepare that feeder with milk and then, shovel it in the baby's mouth in an anger. Le pad hor na mangi. But do you want to know how the master nurses the soul? کہ مرشد طالب کو کیسے پالتا ہے؟ It's not like the mother. But there is an example. There is an example. When the baby is still inside the womb of the mother still feeds the baby. Right? There is a tube which is connected to baby's body. All the nutrients from mother's body travel into the body of the baby. This is how the baby is nourished when the baby is still in the process of creation inside the womb of the mother. But once the baby is out, you cut off that, and that process has ended. And now, in order to feed the baby, you need to prepare the food and then give it to the baby. But how the master spiritually nurses the baby, the spiritual baby. In Catholicism, it is known as second birth. How are you born again? The second birth in Catholicism is not about your body. The second birth is referred to your spiritual birth. The second birth is referred to your spiritual birth. When either Jesus or your Holy Master brings your soul from dormation to awakening. Your body serves like a spiritual dormitory for the soul. And you do not know how to awaken your soul. When you want to wake up somebody, well, you tell them, wake up. If they're in deep sleep, you have to, a little, like you shout at them, wake up. There are ears, the senses, and everything. You hear the voice and you wake up. But the soul is different. It's not like a body. And the soul is inside. Before, people think the soul inside is all awake. This is why I can speak. This is why I can do this. I can do that. No. The condition of the soul in your body is like a baby chicken in an egg. Right?
Yes.
Like a baby chicken inside the egg. Well, if you break open the egg, you won't see the baby. But there is the material inside the egg which can produce a chicken baby. So if we ask you, is there any baby chicken in this egg? You cannot either say yes or no. Now, how do we have a chicken baby in the egg? You need a hen. And the hen will keep the eggs under her. Why? The hen will produce heat, and the heat will enter the egg. The Lord said these souls are in a similar condition inside your body. And there's a similar egg to this egg of the hen. So the souls are inside the eggs in your body. And great Sufis of time have given this egg a name. They call it Bezae Nasuti, a terrestrial egg. A terrestrial egg. Now the beautiful Lord said, there are 3 layers on this egg of the hen, and there are 180,000 layers on this terrestrial egg of the soul. In order to bring that baby chicken out of the egg, you need a hen. And in order to awaken the soul from the terrestrial egg, you need a spiritual master. Why do we need a hen to bring out the baby chicken from the egg? The hen will produce heat, and that heat will enter the egg, and all the ingredients of life which are enclosed in the egg will start to grow. And the spiritual master will provide heat of light to the terrestrial egg. When the baby chicken comes out from the egg, it will start speaking. Similarly, when with the divine energy provided by the spiritual master, the terrestrial egg breaks open, there will come out of that shell your soul awakened. Your soul is not awakened until the spiritual master brings it out from the terrestrial egg. Now, it's so interesting. When God put that soul inside that terrestrial egg, God was the last one that the soul saw. And when it comes out being awakened, the Holy Master is the first one that the whole soul will see. The soul has not seen anything else in between. So, the soul, the understanding of the soul develops like this Holy Master is my Lord. This Holy Master is my God. Why? Why the souls have this notion? Because when the soul was being enclosed into the terrestrial egg, God was the last one that the soul saw. And when they were awakened, the Holy Master, the spiritual master, is the first one they see. So they are still in that mode. Maybe it's God. Because God was the last one that the soul saw. Now the soul is awakened. Ha, ha. Now the soul is awakened. When the baby is born, what does the baby do first thing? Wow, 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 cry. When the soul is awakened, what is the first thing that soul does? Say the name of the Lord. Whether it says Elohim, whether it says God, whether it says Dios, whether it says Allah, whether it says Bhagwan, whatever name is given to the soul by the Holy Master, the soul repeats that name. Once the soul says that name, the soul does not stop forever. Once the soul is awakened and the soul is saying God's name involuntarily, now the soul will not stop. Now the soul is not going to stop. And the Holy Master attach, the Holy Master will attach a wire of divine energy which will come out from his heart, and it will be inserted into the heart of the disciple. This is how the soul will be nourished spiritually.
Aura TV. Guidance brought to you